Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Let's Talk, where I will be sharing my testimony on things that I had to endure and overcome as a young child until present. And you guys will see how God has been and is still elevating my life from them times until present. So we're now on volume 14, part 1. So this part of the series is where I move on from telling the guy about the abortion and him paying for an abortion that was not true. I'm now in London, and remember now my gunman ex-partner, as well as my first true love that I was still in a relationship with, in a sense. So now was the time for me to, make a new start. And so on the 1st of January 2020, I decided to make all the phone calls and just put to bed everything that I needed to move on from into this new year. So again, the 1st of January came 2020. I called my first true love in Jamaica, and then I called my gunman ex, who was back into the city that I just moved from. Just to tell them, okay, it's a new year, it's a new start of my life. I want to move on. I no longer want to be with them, and they should move on with their life. Of course, it did not sit well with my gunman ex, where my first true love, he understood and he was a bit more understanding. My gunman ex was more apprehensive to the whole notion of it, and so he did not accept it in any way, shape, or form very positively. He was negative about it. He started saying all sorts of manner of evil towards me. And at the end of the day, I still wished him well. And I came off the phone with love and peace from my side. I don't know about him. But my first true love, he understood, though it hurt him a lot. Because remember, we shared a kind of bond that was inseparable. Though we had broken up and we went back out again, we still had that bonding, but it was just never enough. But he understood that I wanted him to grow, and I too needed to grow. We needed to explore life and do different things, and he understood it. Even though he was still heartbroken, but he still understood and he let me go. So that was good. Nonetheless, this is where now I started my weight loss journey. So remember, I told you guys that I had put on so much weight because of depression and, going through the motion with my gunman ex. Yes. So I had on all this weight. So in 2020, it was just a new year, a new transition for myself. And I started my weight loss journey, and I had lost a lot of weight. And I looked so nice. I felt so good. I felt healthy. I felt light. And this was where my mental state started to get back into a groove where it was in a settled state. And this was good for me. And this was where God started to transition my life for the better. But I did not realize it at the time. And had I followed onto that trend that God was taking me on from 2020, I know that some of these things that I've encountered over these past few years, or say 5 years, I would not have encountered them, because God would have been, elevating me to where He wants me and not where I wanted to bring myself. Do you get it? But nonetheless, everything happened for a reason, and nothing happens before the time. So now I'm living differently. My mental state was just at its best. I was going to the gym 4 days per week while still attending uni and still attending work. So I was having a work life, gym life, weight loss, mental state balance. Yes, so it was so good for the first 3 months, and this was before we went into lockdown. So this was 2020. So remember COVID-19 that occurred in 2020. So 3 months in, I lost lots of weight, and I was just feeling good. I was at my best. Of course, when it rains, it pours, right? So after being at work, going through my motion, just living my best life, I remember being at work one day and I met this other guy. So now remember, the other guy in that old city that I was dating, that I met at my old workplace, he was still in the picture, but not as much, because we weren't seeing each other as much as I wanted to, because of course I'm now in London. It's going to take a bit of time to go down there. I'm working. I'm in my final semester of my master's degree. You know, it was time for me to buckle down and study. And I was in the gym and all of that. But I went down and I saw him one day in 2020 after I'd done the fake abortion. Yeah, he was happy with me now and he wanted me to come down. And I said, you know what? Let me go see him. But this was when I met another guy in this new workplace that I'm at in London. Yes. And whilst I was talking to him, I went and see the guy that I lied to about being pregnant in that old city. Yeah. And we, done a thing. I came back up the next day. The guy that I was dating now, he did not know anything of what I was doing. I just told him that I'm just going to visit a friend of mine in that old city. And you're just getting to know each other. It was just that. So yeah. So now this is March of 2020. Before I got in tune with this new guy that I met at my new workplace now in London, yes, as I said, I was feeling good. I lost lots of weight. I felt good. I looked nice. It was just good for me at that time. And at the time, I wasn't even looking at this guy, even though he was trying to impress me every way, shape, and form. And I was just not interested, but he still persisted. So I was still 24, almost approaching 25. So this was like still March, and I had 2 months before I turned 25 when I met this new guy. After 2 weeks of this new guy now still persisting, and that because I met him at my workplace, he was operating as a security at the time at my workplace. And after 2 weeks of him being persistent and just trying to get my attention, I decided, okay, let me give this man my number, just to put it at bed and put it at rest. Gave him my number. So upon giving him my number, we started talking, and then I'm starting to learn more about him per se. When I started learning about him, I realized that this man was very much ambitious. And I was thinking, is this God sending me this right man that I need? I literally thought that was the case, because this man came with all the accolades. He had everything that I thought that I needed, because remember, I'm a very ambitious woman myself, and I needed somebody to match my energy. He was athletic in his body. He was like everything. Because why? He was an ex-soldier in the British Army. Yes, he was an ex-soldier in the British Army. So he had resigned post that same year of 2020 when we met. So it was just like, a month that he had resigned his post as a soldier in the British Army. So he was still fresh off the, camps and all of that. And in addition to that, he was a politician. Yes, guys. So you can see where I'm thinking, this is my man. This is the kind of man I need in my life. Somebody who is ambitious, who is a go-getter, who knows what he wants, and someone who will push me to reach my maximum or my heights, or my highest heights, if you will. So that's what I was thinking at the time. And all the things that he was saying, it just matched everything that I needed. I didn't have to ask him for anything in the first few weeks of us talking. He started sending me money, and I was like, no, I don't need your money. I literally did not need his money, but I know that this was part of the impression game, just to lure me in. And I did not know any better. But you see, this is how Satan operates. When he sees you're going on your up and up, he tries to bring in distractions in your life. But thanks be to God, God started teaching me and training me how to spot the devices of Satan. And of course, you will not always get it good. God will not cause you to be led astray. So just trust in him. And that is what God is teaching me even in this moment, how to trust him and to spot the devices of Satan. because Satan will do all that he can to distract you from what God is trying to do for you in your life. Yeah, after like 2 weeks of us getting to know each other, I started to grow liking for this man, because I was like, this man is just so ambitious. He was just ticking all the boxes that I needed. He had so much things going on for him. And now we went into lockdown. So as we went into lockdown after like in the late parts of March, then I had to finish my final semester on Zoom of the university. I was doing my master's in global business management, so I was trying to finish that up, as well as trying to maintain my factors of being in the gym and everything else. We had to be maintaining social distancing. So remember, it's only close families that could come to your household, or you could go out, and you had to do 2 meters social distancing. So all of that was happening. So after a month of us talking constantly, getting to know each other more and more, we even went out on dates. Yep. And though we still had to social distance, we had to book in advance for social distancing. We went out, food eating, all of that, because I decided that I was going to do everything differently. So I wasn't going to just jump in bed with somebody that I just met in the first 2 weeks. No, I said I was doing it different. So after a month or so, this is when I invited this man over, because I was thinking, he's doing the right things. He was ticking the boxes. He sent me money even when I'm not asking him for any money. And he was doing all of these things that a man is supposed to do for his woman. And I said, you know what? I want to treat this man. His birthday was coming up. And I said to him, you know what? Come over. I have something nice for you for your birthday. I want to treat you. And he said, okay, no problem. I went out, I got all these ingredients, because remember, I can cook. I'm very well rounded, right? So I got all the ingredients and everything that I needed to cook up a nice meal, do the candle lighting, everything, because I'm a very romantic person, thanks be to God. So what I done is I got all these extra bits and stuff like that, and all of a sudden now my mindset was off of the other guy that I lied to about being pregnant, because this guy now took over my entire attention. Like, this was how deep it ran. He came over, I cooked him his meal, I shared it out, I done the glass, the wine, everything. It was just blissfully beautiful. Nice. Yeah. But there was something that I recognized that I didn't say. In the first 2 weeks of us talking, there was an issue that presented itself as a red flag. But what I done was painted that red flag green. Never do that, guys. Never see a red flag and paint it green. When you see something, take it for what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yes. Sometimes, of course, there can be clarities, but then if the person is honest and open, you will feel a sense of peace. But even when he tried to clarify what he was saying, there was never any peace. My gut feeling kept telling me, no, that's not the case. But because I did not have any evidence per se, I took what he said and ran with it. And I said, you know what? Let me just put this to bed. Maybe he's telling the truth. But at the same time, remember, I'm still vulnerable, because I was just coming out of a very manipulative, controlling relationship that I was in for 6 to almost 7 years. That I saw, so I had where the least little thing I saw, I was thinking, yep, that is it. I didn't want to bring over that kind of behavior into this new relationship. So I said, you know what? Let me give him the benefit of the doubt and just hear him out. So he managed to convince me in that 2 weeks that it's not what I see, it's not everything that happens, I should always jump to conclusion. And he said all of these things to me. And yeah, he convinced me in that manner, because he was talking to me in a subtle way. He wasn't trying to be overtly manipulative, but he was being covertly manipulative. And I learned this on later on into the relationship, because of course I learned that this man was a compulsive, pathological liar. He lied for the least little things, and he was always so convincing with it. Yes, so convincing. It was just surreal. So I always said after, when I broke up with him, that he's in the right profession. Politician fit him. Watching, and stay tuned, guys, for volume 14 part 2. Thank you. Christ can save anybody.